Mr.
I'll finalize and inform you people. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now let's start with structuralism and post-structuralism. We are taking the survey. In yesterday's lecture, I talked something about the rise or the emergence of structuralism in late 1950s. Then we went on talking about French structuralism and the contribution of Roman Jakobson and Claude Lévi-Strauss, Lacan, and Jacques Lacan and Louis Althusser. Then we also understood that it was Saussure's linguistic structuralism that influenced French structuralism. And then we refer to Saussure's binary oppositions. Sassurean linguistic talks about the four binary oppositions: signifier or signifiant and signified or signify. Then Langue and parole, synchronic and diachronic relations, and or linguistics we can say. Then infrastructure and superstructure. And these theorists, literary theorists, develop their theories by keeping the first term, means signifier, Langue, synchronic linguistics, infrastructure, in each binary pair. Their theories under diminished means reduce the value, the role of the individual subject, which was the focus or which was the matter of emphasis in existentialism. So they reduce this role. They diminish the role of individual subject or agent while highlighting the underlying relation. Their focus was on the underlying system. Okay. And they believed, as per the linguistic theory, that there is the underlying relation that governs social and psychic practices, just like the way language is governed by the underlying system. Then I told you that we would be talking about binary oppositions one by one. First of all, we shall talk about the difference between signifier and signified. I'm sure that you have studied this in Sem 1 of paper 3, 1.3, I can say. So Saussure defined the linguistic sign as the unity of sound image, that is signifier, and a concept, that is signified. Sign is the combination of signifier and signified. Signifier means a sound image, a sound or image, I can say. For example, now you can hear my voice. That is a sound. At the same time, you can see my video. Okay, you are looking at me. At the same time, you can see the screen as well. So this is image. So this is signifier. And whatever you understand after listening to me, that is signified, a concept. So the signifier is that aspect of a sign that can become perceptible. Perceptible means which can be heard, which can be seen by using our sense organs, eyes, ears, etc. You can smell something, you can taste something with the tongue. So these are your sense organs. And whatever you perceive, that is signifier. The signifier is that aspect of a sign that can become perceptible. It is psychological imprint of the word, sound, or the impression it makes on one's senses. Whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you feel, okay, that is signifier. Whereas the signified, the concept, is a set of psychological associations. It is a mental picture, a description associated with a signifier. For example, the word cat. When I utter the word cat, you hear it, you perceive it. That is signifier. Cat is the sign, it is the combination of what you hear, what you read, okay, you can see, or what you can hear. I said cat. So that impression is signifier. But after listening to it, after hearing that word, whatever psychological association, the mental picture that you have in your mind, okay, that is signifier. The picture of cat comes in your mind. Am I right? So that is signifier. So the word cat is the combination of signifier and signified. So the psychological association, the mental picture, a description associated with the signifier is called signified. So in general, we can say that the signifier is the material, means it is whether it is auditory or visual. Auditory means related to hearing, whatever sound you hear, or visual, whatever you see, that can be signifier, component of a sign. Sign is a combination of signifier and signified. While the signified is the mental concept associated with that sign. Now, the next aspect is langue and parole. I hope you understood the difference between signifier and signified. Now, langue, let's try to understand what is langue. Langue. It is the French term. Okay, so by langue, Saussure means the set of interpersonal rules and norms that a speaker of language, that speakers of language must follow, must obey. For example, now I'm talking in English. I follow certain rules. So these interpersonal rules and norms are referred to as langue. Okay, if at all you want to be a good communicator, if you want to communicate, you need to follow these norms, these rules, and these underlying rules are called langue. So langue is the theoretical system or structure of language, maybe of English, Marathi, French, Hindi, Urdu, Italian, etc. It is the theoretical system or the structure of a language, just like not Saussure, Chomsky's competence and performance, the difference between competence and performance. It was Saussure who had come up with the difference between langue and parole. Okay, so once we understand that langue is the theoretical system or structure, now we should understand what parole is. So parole is the actual manifestation of the system. It is the actual manifestation, means display, something which can be seen. Now, for example, I'm talking now. I'm talking is an instance of parole. It is the performance. Okay, it is the actual manifestation of the system. Langue is the system, the theoretical system or structure in speech and writing. Okay, whereas parole is the manifestation of the system in the speech and writing, the speech act. It is the language as used in different contexts. So that is the difference that we need to understand, that Saussure was talking about. So let's further understand that the distinction between langue and parole is the distinction between structure and event. Event is the actual display of the structure. So this can be a relation between a collective product passively assimilated by the individual and the individual act. Now, for example, you know Marathi, you know Hindi, all of us know Marathi. But the way you use Marathi individually, that is your parole. Knowing Marathi is langue. But the way we use Marathi, knowing English is langue. But the way I talk in English is my parole. Okay. Now let's go ahead with the another relationship, another binary opposition. that is synchronic and diachronic linguistics. Okay. By synchronic, Saussure named the structural properties of a system at a particular historical moment, at a given time. Okay. The English used in 21st century is the synchronic linguistics. The way English is used is studied, that is synchronic. But when we understand the development of English from the time of Shakespeare to the present, that is diachronic. So diachronic refers to the historical dimension of a language, the way the language evolved from a given time to the present. So it is the historical evolution of its elements through various stages. Further, Saussure talks about infrastructure and superstructure. Infrastructure in this context refers to the set of underlying relations that explain the superstructure. Superstructure means, you can understand in Chomsky's term, surface structure, and infrastructure, the deep structure. Okay, surface structure and deep structure. Surface structure is the manifestation, the parole is open to observation and description. And Saussure think that Langue functions as the infrastructure to parole as superstructure. So you can understand Langue is just like infrastructure, where parole is superstructure. So this is how we understand this discussion. This knowledge is very important in understanding structuralism in literary criticism.